A sex scandal that has morphed into criminal charges for former President Donald Trump has Nevada's fingerprints all over it. Trump's alleged affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels reportedly began 17 years ago at a Lake Tahoe golf tournament.
There's so many brilliant things in the Bible, and you can read it over, and many people have done this and they've led their life that way, but you can read it hundreds and hundreds of times. You know, David, they say great art, like the Mona Lisa. Some people, they look at it and it doesn't look as great at the beginning, and then they'll look at it. By the time they see it many, many times, it becomes the most, they can't take their eyes off it. Whereas art that's not great, you look at it, it looks beautiful at the beginning, but you get tired of it. The Bible is special. The Bible, the more you see it, the more you read it, the more incredible it is, and the more you realize. It's like a great, you could say, I mean, I don't like to use this analogy, but like a great movie, a great, incredible movie.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin.
Why do we have to keep going?
Because it needs to be clear, Mr. Cullen. Because I need to know and understand exactly what happened. You're standing there. Right hand, right knee. Right knee.
We have been over this.
I'm trying to picture it. Your hand. Your hand came from inside and underneath.
Breaking news we're following. Another woman has now come forward to accuse Donald Trump of inappropriately touching her. She says it happened back in the early 1990s at a Manhattan nightclub. The story now first reported by the Washington Post, Karen Tumulty.
The person on my right, who unbeknownst to me at that time was Donald Trump, put their hand up my skirt.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin.
Trump, the game, came out in 1989. 27 years later, it's the biggest battle on the convention floor.
This is a real game that existed, was for sale at some point?
Very, very real.
Trump, the game, from Milton Bradley.
I think you'll like it.
We bought this, it was in the original packaging.
Right? With the original iconic slogan.
Live the fantasy, feel the power, make the deal.
Make that two iconic slogans.
It's not whether you win or lose, but whether you win.
It's not whether you win or lose, but whether you win. Donald Trump.
Mr. Trump, it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether you win.
Have you played it?
Eric told me he's played it. Don Jr. told me he's played it.
I've never played it, dude.
No, I never played. No, I never. I'm sure nobody plays Monopoly like Donald Trump.
What's the ultimate goal of this game?
The object of the game is to make the most money. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars.
You start with $500 million and you can say...
Shouldn't that be a small loan of $1 million? I'm Viana.
And if you look at the money, his face is on every single $10 million bill.
I love it.
When he wins this election, his face may be on the real money, right?
He might be dealing in Trump.
Because it was 89.
Yeah.
There's a phone number you can call with your questions. Weekdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern.
Guess what? I called that number.
And?
It was some woman in Missouri. And I was like, I'm so sorry, wrong number.
That's a historic phone number.
Do we have to play by the rules?
So, incredibly, here's the thing. You can make any deal you want. There's no rules.
That's because this entire 11-page rulebook is rendered basically meaningless by a single sentence tucked near the end.
You cannot lie to another player or intentionally break a promise. Of course, some situations may be open to interpretation.
That's quite a wrap you're wearing. Perhaps I could get you some fluffy new slippers made from the heads of innocent and defenseless baby seals.
Who is this ghastly man?
Ace Ventura, pet detective. And you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey, thanks for the free parking.
Another activist, McGuire.
Activist. Yes.
Activist, yes.
Mr. Ventura, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of nature. You should try it sometime.
Alrighty then. You know something? You're right. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Do not pass go.
What's this? What's this?
just a number back then. I was not the first. But you are the original 88. I got drafted in 88, and I wanted to be great just like you. So for me, it had to be 88. I wanted to break every record, and get it number.
I didn't know my show where I wanted to blaze my own trail. But Michael? Yeah. You tell me that's what 88
That's what 88 is. We are the 88 Club.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
This morning, the Trump campaign revealing the endorsement of 88 retired U.S. generals and admirals. The group signing a letter that in part rips the Obama administration. Quote, America's armed forces have been subjected to a series of ill-considered and debilitating budget cuts.
New developments this midday in that unprecedented FBI raid of former President Donald Trump's main home in Florida. ABC News has learned that this isn't the first time federal agents visited that estate. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
An extraordinary and unprecedented scene at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Florida. FBI agents Monday executing a court-authorized warrant at the former president's private residence. Trump and his family were not at the home during the raid. His son, Eric Trump, on Fox News.
30 FBI agents, actually more than that, descend on Mar-a-Lago, give absolutely, no notice, go through the gate, start ransacking an office.
Trump himself seen in New York ignoring shouted questions, but confirming the raid in a statement saying his property was under siege and that the agents even broke into his safe. Sources tell ABC News the raid is part of the investigation into allegations Trump improperly removed presidential documents, including classified material from the White House when he left office, a possible violation of federal laws. The National Archives referred the case to the Justice Department after retrieving 15 boxes of material from the Mar-a-Lago residence in January, some of the documents allegedly torn up. Trump and his top Republican allies furious about the FBI raid, without evidence, accusing the DOJ of being weaponized, even though Trump appointed the current FBI director.
That is to try to politically harm and intimidate their political opponents. That's what this is all about.
If you win, you won't be the first black president. That change the way you'll govern?
I want to give them the tools to be self-sufficient so they don't have to rely on us.
Let water find its own level.
Isn't that true equality?
We are One USA. We have raised more money faster than any other Democratic super PAC this election cycle. And we won't slow down until Harold Roundtree is in the White House.
I supported you taking that job. Maybe you would help that campaign focus on the real issues.
I've been analyzing contributions to our super PAC, and I started to see patterns.
Patterns?
They're all add-ins of the same number.
What number?
88.
All of it goes back to business interests associated with one organization.
We need to get ahead of this. We're sitting on the time bomb.
Where do we start?
Follow the money? I don't think they're expecting to run into Black Rain Man.
White supremacists supporting a black man. You know how ridiculous that sounds?
It goes way beyond campaign funds.
It goes to the soul of the country.
Bury this. We never knew.
You stumbled on something far bigger than you think, Mr. Jackson.
I'm scared that one day our son could walk out that door and never make it back home.
8701, 2563, 71.17.
I am the architect of my destiny.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Jackson. Stay out of the way.
Mr. Jackson, I know who I am.
Here, we have just gotten word former President Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in New York. Trump was under investigation by the DA's office for his alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 campaign.
Just keeping you on your toes, babe. 239 pounds! Oh, I'm a blimp. Why are all the good things so tasty?
Release the following health information. Vitals as follows. Age 71 years and 7 months at the time of the exam. Height 75 inches. Weight 239 pounds. Resting heart rate 68. Weight 239 pounds.
Oh no! 239 pounds!
Weight 239 pounds.
You can do it, old boy. Yes, I can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let him say. Let him say. Let him say.
The water of life shall proceed forth from the throne of the Lamb, and the day of the Lord shall be a...
Former Vice President Mike Pence may have to take another oath, this time swearing to tell the truth to a grand jury. A federal judge ruled Monday that Pence will have to testify about Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The judge rejected arguments that Pence's role as president of the Senate on January 6th grants him constitutional protections. Here's CBS News chief campaign and election correspondent Robert Costa.
A major ruling with potentially historic consequences. Sources say former Vice President Mike Pence has been ordered to provide testimony to special counsel Jack Smith's grand jury about any illegal acts committed by former President Trump, and that private exchanges between Trump and Pence are not off limits. Prosecutors are focused on conversations the two men had in the days before and on January 6th.
It's hard to imagine a more important witness than the vice president himself telling a grand jury and potentially a jury, if there were an indictment, about what the president was doing on January 6th. What did he say? What were the plans that he communicated to the vice president or to others in the presence of the vice president?
Trump's lawyers had tried to block Pence from testifying. Pence, too, had argued he shouldn't have to testify because of his constitutional role in the legislative branch.
The notion of compelling a former vice president to appear in court to testify against the president with whom they served is unprecedented, but I also believe it's unconstitutional.
how to sacrifice your queen to checkmate your opponent. Start with pawn to e4. Black responds pawn to e5. White develops knight to f3. Black responds knight c6. White goes bishop to c4. If black plays d6, here's where the trap comes into play. Develop the knight to c3. Black pins the knight to the queen. Pawn to h3, attacking the bishop. Bishop to h5. Now lay the trap. Knight takes e5. If the bishop captures the queen, take on f7. The only move out of check for black is e7. Then knight to d5, checkmate.
So here's the thing, the Inflation Reduction Act. Okay, all right. Well, okay, so that's been confirmed. Okay, the royal family. So as I said earlier, you know, our hearts and our thoughts go to the family members of the Queen, goes to the people of United Kingdom. I don't want to get ahead of what the President is going to say. I want him to, from you all to hear from him first, and so I don't want to get ahead of that. And I said this earlier, our relationship with the people of the United Kingdom, and this is something that the President has said himself, has grown stronger and stronger. It is the United Kingdom is one of our closest allies. And again, our hearts go to the people of the United Kingdom.
Afternoon in June, the Queen is showing me around her private gardens at Buckingham Palace. But even here, we can't entirely escape the outside world.
Why do we always go round and round when we want to talk? Sounds like President Trump, President Obama.
The Queen has dusted down her acting skills once again, this time for the Invictus Games for injured servicemen and women, which begin in Florida next month.
It was quite close.
Only 19, but he is the reigning world champion from Grenada, Kirmani J. European team champion representing Russia, Maxim Dildy.
Breaking news to bring you now, because a parole board has denied the former Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius early release from prison in South Africa. Now, of course, Oscar Pistorius was jailed in 2016 after being found guilty of shooting and killing his girlfriend.
Message? Yeah, from Michelle. How very amusing. So we like to watch it together?
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Hey, Prince Harry. Remember when you told us to bring it at the Invictus Games?
Careful what you wish for.
Boom.
Oh, really? Please.
Boom.
What was announced last night was also very unprecedented. And as an American, it's very troubling to me to see the leader of the opposition party be indicted. And I think that shows, obviously, the fear that the Democrats have of Trump and the political strength that he has.
Who is the Antichrist?
who will be the end of time.
President Trump issued 26 new pardons on Wednesday evening. The list includes longtime ally Roger Stone, former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and Charles Kushner. He's the father of Mr. Trump's White House senior advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner. He pleaded guilty to tax evasion and witness tampering in the early 2000s.
Conditioned to believe that the supposed one-man Antichrist will make a 7-year Israel peace agreement to fulfill the 70th week of Daniel prophecy, which will mark the beginning of the supposed 7-year tribulation period. Most believe that they will be raptured out after the peace agreement takes place, so it sets up the narrative of a fake rapture scenario where people may be tricked into believing that they have been left behind. The enemy is going to play out their deceptive script to fool believers in the end times, so they position people to appear to be the one-man Antichrist, when in fact they aren't. This video looks at Jared Kushner being used in that role.
A lot of things to talk about. How to advance peace, stability, and security in our region, prosperity too. And I think all of them are within our reach. So I'm happy to see you and the effort that you're leading on behalf of the President, with Jason, members of your team. I think this is a sign of the great alliance between us and the great goals that guide us.
It's true. Well, we're very appreciative of your team and all the efforts that they've made. The President is very committed to achieving a solution here that will be able to bring prosperity and peace to all people in this area. And we really appreciate the commitment of the Prime Minister and his team to engaging very thoughtfully and respectfully in the way that the President has asked them to do so. So the relationship between Israel and America is stronger than ever, and we really thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for his leadership and his partnership.
Jared is married to President Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka. I believe that the enemy connects powerful families through marriage to better carry out their agenda. And now he is the golden boy of the Trump administration. He is charming and likable, extremely smart and well educated, and probably very well coached. He has been given top security clearance to know all that is going on, even though he has no experience in politics or anything in which he is now involved in.
But Bibi and I have known each other a long time. A smart man, great negotiator, and I think we're going to make a deal. It might be a bigger and better deal than people in this room even understand. That's a possibility. So let's see what we do.
We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector. With trillions at its disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
Spent most of his life trying to stay out of the spotlight, while still making a serious name for himself in the real estate business. He is a real estate investor and developer, the owner of the New York Observer, the husband of Ivanka Trump, and now senior advisor to President Trump. Today we're talking about Jared Kushner. Jared was born on January 10, 1981 to Cyril and Charles Kushner. His father was a very successful real estate developer and the owner of Kushner Companies, which Jared would become CEO of at a very young age. The Kushner family is worth $1.8 billion, and Jared himself has a personal net worth of around $800 million. Although he had been a lifelong Democrat, Jared became deeply involved in the presidential race of his Republican father-in-law, Donald Trump, writing speeches, managing the social media campaigns, and often acting in the role of campaign manager. He now has a tremendous influence as a senior advisor to President Trump. Now that we've covered some background, let's get into the 15 things you didn't know about Jared Kushner. Number 1. He avoids social media and is intensely private. Jared is known to be a very private person. He does not have a Facebook account and seems to avoid social media altogether, with one exception. He joined Twitter in 2009 but has yet to post a single tweet. He follows about 40 people, most of which are family members or business connections, along with a few celebrities like Ashton Kutcher, Gary Busey, and Jimmy Fallon.
In Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things tick.
Number 2. He tried to buy the Los Angeles Dodgers. At the age of 31, Jared attempted to become the youngest owner in Major League Baseball by putting in a bid on the Los Angeles Dodgers. The team was ultimately sold to an investment group that included former Los Angeles Lakers player Magic Johnson for over $2 billion back in 2012, which made it the largest sale for a professional sports team up to that point. Number 3. His father's legal troubles made him abandon his career goal of becoming a prosecutor. Jared earned a law degree as well as a master's degree in business administration from New York University in 2007. He had plans to become a prosecutor, but his father's arrest and prison sentence changed his mind. Jared's father, Charles, pled guilty to making false statements to the FEC, witness tampering, and tax evasion. After seeing how the prosecutor handled the case, Jared said he didn't think he could cause that kind of pain to families. The prosecutor who sent his dad to prison was actually New Jersey Governor and former presidential candidate Chris Christie.
I just want to say, in addition to the two governors and the mayor and chairman, most of all, I just want to say thanks to the Iron Workers, all the people who were involved in this. Unbelievable. But we couldn't be prouder of you. That is what the American Spirit's all about. Congratulations.
Number 4. When his father went to prison, he took over the family business. Jared took over the family business much sooner than expected when his father was sentenced to jail time. He became the CEO of Kushner Companies in 2008 at the age of 27 and was immediately faced with the crash of the U.S. economy, which his real estate business was greatly affected by. He kept the company afloat and made several notable real estate purchases, including 50% of the Times Square building for $295 million back in 2015. Number 5. He facilitated the most expensive single-building purchase in New York City's history. In 2007, the Kushners bought the office building located at 666 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan for $1.8 billion, paying $1,200 per square foot for the New York City building. This made it the most expensive single-building transaction up to that point in New York City's history. Jared was the one that signed the contract to buy the property. After the economy crashed in 2008, it was reported that Kushner lost at least $90 million on the deal. The Kushner Company is currently planning to replace the building bought with a $12 billion skyscraper. Number 6. He once broke up with Ivanka because of his parents. Jared and Ivanka went on their first date in 2007, and the relationship quickly became serious. Ivanka says Jared was the first boyfriend she ever brought home to her parents, and Donald Trump warmed up to him pretty quickly. But it was a different story when it came to Ivanka and his parents. They reportedly were very opposed to the relationship because Ivanka was not Jewish, and this was the primary reason the couple broke up in 2008. Wendy Deng, who was Rupert Murdoch's wife at the time, brought the two back together by inviting them for a weekend on her and Rupert's yacht, without telling them the other would be there. And the plan seemed to work perfectly. Ivanka agreed to convert to Judaism, and the two were married in 2009.
When President Trump first called upon you to advance his efforts to bring peace to the Middle East, all the experts, the so-called experts, belittle your appointment. By the way, I ask you, don't take it personally, they do it to me too. Now you can say, I can say, how wrong these naysayers were. You can be proud of your contribution to normalizing Israel's relations with the Arab and Muslim worlds and for peace in the Middle East. Mark, can you read this? Somebody? No?
It says,
Yeah.
in recognition of Jared Kushner, Senior Advisor to the President of the United States, for his historic contribution to the Abraham Accords, the normalization of Israel's relations with the Arab and Muslim world, and to peace in the Middle East.
Thank you. You're more short-sighted than me. Thank you.
Tomorrow, we will very proudly advance the Abraham Accords with the first direct commercial flight on El Al from Israel to Morocco. For this breakthrough, I would like to thank my friend, King Mohammed VI, as this will bring about a whole new set of opportunities for Northern Africa and the entire Middle East. To create a lasting and sustainable peace, any deal made must leave all people more secure, free to worship how they choose, and with sustainable opportunity for economic development and prosperity. This is a simple approach, but it was surprisingly controversial when we started because it went against the conventional way of thinking. After 4 years of intense efforts and learnings, I feel even more conviction that it is the key to continued success, and there is much more success to be had in the future.
Peace and security.
The lesson of history is that peace and security do not come easily.
Peace and stability that people on all sides long for.
Two states for two peoples living side by side in peace and security is not a vague slogan, but a real necessity for the stability in the entire region.
Israel and Palestinians, they can live side by side in peace and security. This is our vision, and this is our commitment.
Of a new deal, peace and security and friendship.
My hopes and dreams for Israel are to live in peace and security.
Two states living side by side in peace and security. True security for all Israelis. We will also pursue peace between Israel and Lebanon.
In peace and security.
Israel and Syria.
Peace and security.
And a broader peace between Israel and its many neighbors. Must decide whether we are serious about peace and security. To recognize Israel's legitimacy and its right to exist in peace and security. That's how we will find new pathways to peace and security. That is the work that we must do.
In peace and security.
Peace and security and coexistence.
A movement towards peace. If we have this triangle, economy, security, and peace, then peace can succeed.
Number 7. He designed his wife Ivanka's wedding ring. Kushner worked with one of Ivanka's fine jewelry designers to customize an engagement ring from Ivanka's own jewelry collection. He popped the question with a 5.5 carat cushion-cut diamond ring, and the couple married 3 months later. Number 8. He and his family observe the Sabbath weekly. Jared is a modern Orthodox Jew, and one way he practices his faith is by observing the Jewish Sabbath, known as the Shabbat, between sundown Friday and sundown Saturday. During this time, his family refrains from using cell phones, email, internet, and TV, and are not permitted to travel except by walking. Jared and Ivanka had to receive a special dispensation from their rabbi to travel by car during President Trump's inauguration, and they also received another dispensation to travel by plane to Saudi Arabia in May of 2017 to accompany the president on his international trip.
Joining me now is Professor Emeritus Hillel Weiss from Bar-Ilan University. He's a professor of Hebrew literature, lawyer, and an activist that promotes the rebuilding of a third Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Now, that, of course, is a very controversial position, since that is also the site of the third most important Muslim holy site, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Professor Weiss, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
First, tell me a little bit about this initiative that you are going to, it's just happening this month in September.
We want to establish a new organization, which is, his name is the 17 Nations. The 17 Nations come from the Bible, the story of the flood, that after the flood, all the humanity, all the sons of Noah have been scattered all over the world. They made a rebellion. They tried to build the Tower of Babylon, and then God was very angry because it was against to prevent the Mabul. They didn't take seriously
the flood.
The flood, or they saw that they can twist the resolution of God. Then God saw them out, and they are in exile.
You believe the nations will come and repent.
We want to establish an international court according the laws of the Bible, but in a modern interpretation. All those 70 nations on the entire globe to cooperate not only towards the temple, but to, like the United Nations, that mostly is against the laws of Noah, in family affairs and many other affairs. We want to repair the United Nations.
Welcome back. Russia has now taken the presidency of the United Nations Security Council. Ukraine has urged other Security Council members to stop the move. Adding to the controversy, Russian President Vladimir Putin has an international criminal court warrant out against him for war crimes. The CBC's Dominic Velitis has more.
The UN Security Council is the international body responsible for maintaining peace and security in the world. And there is bewilderment, even anger today, that Russia, which of course launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine just over a year ago, has now taken control of it. It means the Security Council is now being led by a country whose president is a wanted man. The International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin just last month. The role is mostly procedural, but the Security Council presidency gives the monthly incumbents power to organize its own sessions. Russia is planning 3 during April, including one on arms control, during which it's expected to single out the United States for supplying arms to Ukraine. Now, the fact that it is April 1st today hasn't gone unnoticed, particularly by Ukraine. The country's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, has led the criticism, describing the news as the worst April Fool's joke ever. The United States, meanwhile, says its hands are tied as the UN Charter doesn't allow for the removal of a permanent member of the UN Security Council, which Russia, of course, is. And as far as I'm aware, the US and other permanent members of the Security Council, not including China, are not planning any official boycott or protest. The bulk of the Security Council's work is really taken up by reports and routine briefings on UN peacekeeping missions around the world. And I think there is a feeling that, however distasteful Russia's presidency is to some, nothing should be done to interrupt that work, to allow what's happening in Ukraine have an impact on peace and security issues in other parts of the world.
Our second stop in New York City is the United Nations headquarters, which was built in 1945 and financed largely by John D. Rockefeller. Inside UN headquarters is an ominous meditation room. The custodian of the meditation room is Lucis Trust Company. At one time, the Lucis Trust was located at 666 United Nations Plaza and was formerly named Lucifer Publishing Company. The Rockefeller-funded UN meditation room is 33 feet long and 18 feet wide. 18 feet is 6 plus 6 plus 6. The small, dimly lit, windowless room was built in the shape of a pyramid that is laying on its side. At the center of the room is a 4-foot-high, black, casket-shaped stone slab which weighs 6.5 tons and is extremely magnetic and rests on a concrete pillar. The pillar descends beneath the floor into the bedrock and taps into the Earth's hyperdimensional energies to induce a state of altered consciousness. Not far from the meditation room is the United Nations Security Council chamber. This is the emergency room of the UN, where the world leaders meet when there is a threat to peace. They decide the fate of nations. Even though Israel has over 200 uninspected nuclear weapons and has violated dozens of resolutions, no sanctions are ever imposed because of the United States' veto powers. Notice the giant mural that towers over the Security Council room. The central focus of the UN mural is the phoenix bird that has risen. The phoenix bird is a symbol of Lucifer. Egyptians believed that the phoenix symbolized a god who rose to heaven in the form of a morning star like Lucifer after his fire immolation of death and rebirth. Notice that the phoenix bird is not standing above his own ashes. He is standing above his old skin. Like a snake, he has shed his old skin and is revealing himself as God at the center of the mural. At the top left, there is a church steeple without a cross. The missing cross symbolizes the death of Christianity. Below, a woman receives the rays of the sun god, while the man in front of her plays Pan's flute. To their right are two pyramid symbols and people joined together by a long blue serpent-like cloth. Below the risen phoenix, a sword is driven through a dragon beast. This represents the killing of old beliefs and religions that depicted Lucifer as a beast. The New World religion worships him as beautiful. Behind the phoenix, the ghostly figures of the walking dead are stepping into a void. They symbolize depopulation. On the right panel, the pale horse from the book of Revelation is the bringer of death to humanity through weapons, hunger, and disease. The man is releasing him. The chained black man represents slavery, while the top panel of the mural shows a technologically advanced white race who control industry, art, and science. In this post-apocalyptic mural, the military man standing on the tail of the beast represents worldwide military power. He tips his helmet to the elite, who are climbing out from underground cities where they safely hid from the apocalypse. In the main oval panel above the phoenix bird, a woman is holding flowers. She is the bride in a wedding ceremony. Who are these newlyweds that are kneeling submissively beneath the serpent in the overhead tree? Could the newlyweds symbolize William and Kate? The serpent in human form is tempting the little girl Eve, who accepts the apple. On the right side of the top panel, a reptilian green creature with scaly skin is dancing with a naked woman while musicians entertain him. The general message of the UN's Phoenix Rising mural is that humanity is stepping into a new Luciferic reality. Beneath this disturbingly prophetic mural, world leaders make global decisions that affect the lives of nearly 7 billion people.
And I say again, you need not be a Jew to be a Zionist. The fact is that since then, I've known every single prime minister, and it's been an honor. Formed strong working relations with each of them. And now This is my 10th visit. Every chance to return to this great country, where the ancient roots of the Jewish people date back to biblical times, is a blessing. Because the connection between the Israeli people and the American people is bone deep. We invest in each other. We dream together.
Number 9. His grandparents were Holocaust survivors. Jared's grandparents, Ray and Joseph Kushner, survived the brutal conditions of the Nazi occupation of Poland during the Holocaust. They immigrated to the United States in 1949 and established a construction company which would eventually grow to be the billion-dollar company the family operates today. The prestigious Ray Kushner Yeshiva School in Livingston, New Jersey is named after Jared's grandmother, and the Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy in the same city is named for his grandfather. Number 10. He was accepted to Harvard after his parents made a very large donation. Jared graduated from Harvard in 2003 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in government. However, members of the administration of his high school said they were very surprised he was admitted because neither his grades nor his SAT score warranted his acceptance into an Ivy League school. There was speculation that he was accepted only because of the $2.5 million his parents agreed to donate to the university. This was the subject of a book written by Daniel Golden called The Price of Admission, which focused on unfair admission practices of elite universities favoring the wealthy and famous. His brother Joshua also attended the school.
Number 8, we will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Number 11. Jared made around $20 million while still in college. While at Harvard, Jared developed real estate in Somerville, Massachusetts as the vice president of Somerville Building Associates, which was a division of Kushner Companies. He made a profit of around $20 million through buying and selling properties. Number 12. His family owns and manages $1.15 billion in real estate assets. The very successful Kushner Companies owns at least 20,000 apartments and 13 million square feet of additional property in 6 states. As CEO, Jared has focused on attracting creative companies and millennial-focused startups like Warby Parker and Etsy to rent his building space. Number 13. He was given a $10 million graduation present. After graduating from Harvard, Kushner bought the New York Observer, a newspaper that was losing about $2 million annually. Jared turned the paper around, dropping the print editions and moving to an all-digital format, making the publication profitable again. A close family friend says that the paper was a graduation gift from his family, who paid $10 million cash for the publication. However, when Jared became a senior White House advisor, he passed along his publisher title to his brother-in-law, Joseph Meyer. Number 14. He and Ivanka are excellent matchmakers. Since Jared and Ivanka have found happiness together, they said they want to help make other friends happy too by playing matchmaker. Ivanka says they see how their friends' strengths and personalities and passions align and are able to successfully match them up. They have set up 7 couples that have gotten married so far, and Jared has even officiated 2 of the weddings. Jared also offered to officiate the wedding of Morning Joe co-hosts Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, but Mika was not interested. Number 15. Rosie O'Donnell wrote a poem about him and his wife. In 2016, Rosie O'Donnell saw Jared and Ivanka on one of their date nights at a restaurant. She did not recognize the two right away, but was inspired by the romantic way the couple interacted. She wrote a poem called 8 Million to 1 that described Ivanka as the most beautiful woman she has ever seen, and Jared as having a calming charm. Rosie has an ongoing feud with Donald Trump, and the poem also spoke about how she confronted Ivanka at the restaurant and shared how her father's words and actions had affected her. Now that you know a little bit more about Jared, do you think he is an impressive businessman or was just lucky to be born into a successful family?
When I got fired, birds stopped singing. Since I was fired, flowers don't smell at all.
Being fired made me realize I am gonna take it. You know, the whole reason I became a celebrity was so that I could never get fired. I don't know who I am anymore.
I can still make things disappear. If I brought them back, would it even matter?
Since I've been fired, I've lost my will to argue.
I've been so down, I've written like 24 country songs.
I haven't been able to look at myself in the mirror as much.
Let's rock this thing.
Who is the most disrespectful person sitting in this room right now?
I'm a grown woman. I run a company. I run half of the West Coast. Talk to me like I'm 4 years old.
She runs a company half of the West Coast.
You were yelling at me.
I'm going to just stop you right there
No, you're
and
not
tell
going
you
to
that
stop me. You did yell because I heard you yell and it was like this.
So are you yelling at me now?
No, I'm not. I'm showing you what you did.
If I decide to leave it all on and y'all have to work it out,
okay,
that's my decision.
Stephen, you be nice to Mary Lou or I'm gonna kill you.
What do you think, Little John? Is she a leader or just a stressed out bitch?
Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Every day. Taking care of business. Every way. Hey! Digging, going from your heart, the heart will come and be so true.
You know what? Men in Black are gonna come get him.
Yeah! Taking care of business.
It's showtime.
So, you wish to enter my academy? Well, you know, magic is difficult to control. You'll have to prove yourself first. Enter the testing grounds. Complete the puzzles. Pass the tests. Prove yourself worthy. I'll be waiting for you.
You got into a tussle recently with Bill Maher about critical race theory and wokeness. When you look at the political discourse in our country today and the role that media plays in it, what do you think?
It's difficult to try to find truly unbiased reporting, news that really is straight shooters. You know, this conversation I had with Bill, we're talking about critical race theory, and I think it's imperative that it's taught, that we look at our history, much the same, I think, that Germany has looked at their history in involvement in the wars, that the 1 and 2, and embrace it and say, this is where we went wrong. This is how it went wrong. When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them.
To end this on a different note, for all of the serious talk, your co-stars on Breaking Bad say that you are a child trapped in a man's body and that they've never known anyone who found it so amusing to stuff fruit down his pants.
That kind of rumor is what makes me smile.
My spiritual path is thelema. Thelema is a Greek word meaning will.
And a Thelemite is anyone, really, the generic Thelemite is anyone who seeks to find their true will in life and then proceed to do it. In literature of today, in the modern spiritual movements and such, when somebody says the word thelema, they're most likely referring to the philosophy and the works of Aleister Crowley.
A man of many faces, Crowley excelled at most things he turned his attention to. He was an accomplished mountain climber, poet, chess player, and writer. What he chose to focus his extraordinary talents on was a spiritual awakening for himself and all humanity.
Let's take a look at the symbology of the Magus card today from the Thoth Tarot deck. Below the Magus we see the cynocephalous ape, who is associated with Thoth. He is also known as the ape of Thoth, and he represents the distortion of truth that is inherent in form, or in this case the speech of the Magus. Truth is distorted through the personality of the one trying to represent it. Perfection is only in spirit. However, in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the cynocephalous ape is depicted as the highly intelligent companion of Thoth, who assists him in the weighing of the heart in the Hall of Judgment. The ape raises his fist in the air, alluding to the letter Kaf, which means fist, and the trump fortune, where the cynocephalous ape represents the alchemical Mercury. I think this is also a good time to point out that some of the older editions of the Thoth Tarot deck actually come with 3 different versions of the Magus. The one that we're using is the most common one and is shown in the Book of Thoth.
At times, his unique message bred misunderstanding and contempt. His detractors denounced him as a Satanist, a drug addict, and a sex maniac. Clearly for some, Aleister Crowley was, and still is, dangerous man.
Aleister Crowley was an eccentric, genius, holy man. He considered himself, and many other people consider him, a prophet of a new age, of a new aeon. And he had an incredibly good sense of humor, but an incredibly bad sense of timing. He didn't always know when people didn't get the joke, and he also didn't always know when people didn't understand his genius.
All right, Crowley. Let's not waste our breath on formalities. At once, sir.
Such a lovely boy.
What do you want, Crowley?
I want your soul, of course. That is, my master wants it.
Do it yours. Give me my sister.
You're a businessman, Mr. Wayne. You know that saying something doesn't make it so. I'll need a contract. Inked in your blood.
Oh, please spare me this spillage. I don't believe in Satan.
Oh, you're modern. Rational. Well-educated. A civilized man of peace and moderation. Of course you don't believe in Satan, but that doesn't matter. Satan believes in you. It's you he wants. Your spiritual essence, not your company.
Aleister is just a very wise and loving man. A teacher.
In exchange for my sister's liberty, I have to sell... I have to sell my soul to the devil.
Precisely. You get my master's eternal friendship.
You're a smart businessman, Mr. Wayne. Think of that. Think of the power you'll have. I have power now, you fool. I could buy and sell the likes of you.
See now, there's the beast inside of you.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
All right, we are continuing to follow that breaking news of a roof collapse in Belvedere.
Let's go to Jenna Barnes, who just arrived on the scene. Jenna, what can you tell us?
You can see the marquee just hanging down. There's rubble in the road here. And again, fire trucks and ambulances pretty much as far as the eye can see. We also have people who were attending this concert. We have concerned neighbors all gathering here waiting for more information about exactly what happened. But we do know there was a concert going on at the time of this roof collapse. A Facebook post from the Apollo Theater announcing tonight's concert said the doors were scheduled to open here at 6 o'clock. The big headliner was a metal band called Morbid Angel, with a few opening acts scheduled to go on earlier than that. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for Belvedere at 7:23 tonight. We saw the first damage report come in here just before 8. It's unclear right now if a tornado caused this damage, or if it was a severe storm with high winds. The result, regardless, is destruction. And we know there are reports of injuries. There's a report that the coroner is here on the scene. We're awaiting an update from police on just how many people were hurt. They are clearly still here investigating, trying to help people. It's still a very active scene. So as soon as we learn more from them, we will come back to you with an update. For now, we're live in Belvedere. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
All right.
A son's heart left shattered, recounting the final moments he spent with his father, Fred Livingston Jr., before he was crushed under heavy bricks and debris.
Yeah, it happened so fast, man. They did raise me since I was 2 years old.
The 50-year-old was inside Belvedere's Apollo Theater during a Friday night heavy metal concert when the roof collapsed as a devastating storm rolled through.
I just remember seeing all these people just start lifting the roof off other people and just trying to pull people out, and seeing somebody, not moving, getting pulled out is terrifying.
And outside, high winds tearing down the theater's marquee with bricks littering the street. This doorbell video recording the storm as it tore through the area. The National Weather Service confirming it was an EF1 tornado traveling nearly 28 miles through 3 different counties.
If I didn't get to that door and grab the handle, I would have been gone.
Band members spending the day moving out their equipment that was left overnight, as crews cleared out the debris from the now condemned Apollo Theater.
It's just devastating. We can't believe, of all people, why him?
A decades-old building, now the site of pain, heartache, and unthinkable loss.
Having him gone was a total shock, knowing that he was the only one in the fatalities out of 260 people.
Officials say more than 40 concert goers were hurt, some of them still in the hospital with critical injuries.
4th block is empty.
2 years, 3 months, and 9 days.
Do you not think an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? This work continues. The story goes on. And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Lesson 60 on page 150.
never see it coming. know these things are coming, but we don't fixate on them all the time. What we do is we want to keep our focus on Christ. When you're not fearful and you find your place in Christ, Psalm 91 is a great prayer of protection for the Christian believer, that if you claim that scripture for yourself and dwell in the hiding place of Jesus Christ, he will protect you. There's promises in that scripture for you. Just lean on Christ, surrender to Christ, believe that Christ and everything he says he means, and they're all promises that you can take to the bank. And we will persevere and stand in this time. It's the greatest time to be alive. It's the greatest time to be witnessing the return of Jesus Christ. It's the greatest time in human history. We're going to see stuff that is beyond amazement, and we're going to see the destruction of the beast system once and for all. I'm looking forward to just fellowshipping with Christ and my fellow believers in Christ during this period of time for whatever he has in store for
Tribulation on every side, but I know a man. They call him Jesus, and he covered me in his blood. Help you to stand, my Lord. There is power in the name of Jesus. So much power. Oh yeah, His name. All you have to do is ask Him, cover me, Jesus. I need you to, Jesus. Cover me, Jesus. Please cover me. Cover me with your blood. I'm begging you, Jesus. I bleed the blood of Jesus. Oh yeah, I bleed it in the morning. I bleed the blood of Jesus. In the midnight hour, Jesus got me with His eye. Show me the pathway He has for my life. If I humble myself to Him, bow down, He will surely defend. I know He will. He said, call me when you need me, child. No matter when, no matter where, just fall down on your knees. Say a sincere prayer to me. Cover me, Jesus. Please, cover me.